explosion of ill health in the Caribbean. And this is a legacy of slavery and colonization. You take a people, put them on an island for 300 years, give them salt fish and salt pork every day, overwork them, undermine them, sell their children, rape their wives, make them work 20 hours a day, overwork, malnourish, and take them through that stress profile of physical and mental terror. What you get? Hypertension and diabetes. It was the same then as it is now. When your doctor tells you to learn to relax, take out your salt. Well, you can take out the salt, but your foreparents couldn't take it because that's all they had, salt. And now the result is that black people in the Caribbean cannot metabolize salt and sugar. Because for 300 years, that is what we were fed on plantations, plus the stress. So we cannot metabolize salt and sugar, and now we all have a salt and sugar problem, hypertension, diabetes. And we are spending millions of dollars to deal with this. Millions of dollars we are spending to fight hypertension, diabetes in the Caribbean. That is going to be the #1 economic crisis in this region next 20 years, unless we find an answer to it. At the University of the West Indies, we've started to do this research. And I can share with you the problem that we're having. The drugs that are being used to treat high blood pressure, for example,
in the room.
have been clinically tried on Caucasian peoples because they are the majority in the markets. The drugs are 95% effective.
Listen to this part. It's very, very important, people, as we get started. We have Sister Glenda Caesar in the building with us right now.
Efficient on the Caucasian body, because when you take a hypertension drug, what happens? The drug goes into your body. It sends a message to your cells to open up, let the blood come through. It sends a message. Okay. When a white person takes that drug, the cells have a 90% response. When an African black person in the Caribbean takes that drug, we have a 70% response. So we are still dying at a faster rate. When you see people in their 60s and 70s having strokes and heart attacks because of hypertension, it is because the drugs are not working. They're not working as well as they should. Now, the important thing about this is that the drugs work on the Africans. The drugs work on the Africans as well as they work on the Caucasians. But they don't work on us because something happened to us. You see, so when an African in Nigeria and Ghana and so on takes the drugs, she has a good response. When the European take it, they have a good response. But in the Caribbean and in the New World, the Africans over here don't have that response because something happened to us.
Wow.
Because we have been genetically modified during that slavery period.
Come on.
It doesn't work on us. And now we have to find out. So right now we are taking blood samples. We are taking blood samples from people in Nigeria and Ghana.
We're about to start, peoples. Hang tight, hang tight, hang tight. Couple more minutes, we're letting more people
and comparing blood samples with Barbados, Jamaica, St. Vincent, and trying to find out what the differences are so that we can figure out why the cells of black people in the Caribbean don't respond the same way as Africans do. What has happened to us in the process? The stress profile of slavery for the 300 to 400 years. And believe me, we have lost.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there. That is Sir Hilary Beckles, Sir Hilary Beckles, and he is a part of the CARICOM Reparations Commission. That's Sir Hilary Beckles, ladies and gentlemen, of Barbados. He's age 69, and he's educated in the University of Hull. In this country, England, Beckles began his academic career at the university and was granted a personal professorship at the age of 37, becoming the youngest in the university history. He was named Pro Vice Chancellor and Chairman of UWI's Board of Undergraduate Studies in 1998 and 2002, and was named Principal of the University in Cave Hill campus. Right, so we are starting. We are here, family. Thank you all for coming in on a Saturday. It's cold outside, but it's warm on the inside. We have our special guest for today. This is part 2 of Windrush compensation scheme. Welcome. Oh, I see you all here. I see iPhone. I see Howard. I see Hermine. I see Glenda Bennett. I see Alistair. I see someone with called Google Pixel. Some of you got names of phones. Wow, that's on your birth certificate. Google Pixel. Welcome in the building. Mervyn Edwards, Marsha Shack, Lynn Bingham, Kemet. Big up, Kemet. June Elizabeth White Smith Gully. Wow, what a name. Jana, Sister Jana, my sister, good Sister Jana in the building. Sister, please moderate and put in the power of consent at gmail.com. That's power of consent at gmail.com. We have future courses coming up in 2025 dealing with different things that pertain to us as a people and to the broader human family. Big up everybody. Mon, I see you. I see you. I see everybody. Yes, sir. So, Sister Glenda, more people coming in the space. My mic sound nice. Check 1, check 2, check 3. Yeah. So, Sister Glenda, are you there, beloved? Are you there? The mic and the floor.
Yes, I am.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, I am. I
Yes.
think someone else answered then. Cool.
Somebody else asked. Glenda Caesar. Glenda Bennett. Let me just be. All right. So it's all your sister. So brief recap from part 1, what we did 3 weeks ago. This is part 2. Thank you everyone for joining with us. We're not going to stay long. We know Black people love to chat. Yes. And it's good. It's great. So sister, we want all the talk from you though. And we will entertain questions and answers afterwards, not while the speaker is speaking. That is house rules. That is decorum. That is respect. So we're not going to have no heckling because everyone's on mute anyway. And we know that as a family, we're passionate. So let's jump and get right into it, family. Part 2, go ahead, sister. It's all yours. We're going to talk about the High Court, the recent High Court ruling as well of the sister who it was reported this week, this week gone or present or whatever have you, who recently, this is a report, and I know sister will go into it, of the daughter of Windrush man, who, let me see, loses High Court challenge against immigration decision. And me and sister had a brief chat, private chat about this, and sister could have absolutely won this case. And I know sister will go into it in her own time. So let me give the floor to sister and shut up my mouth. All right, beloved, it's all yours.
Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for taking the time out on your Saturday before you run out to the market to come on here and join this, what I would call a workshop. I'm not going to go into my case because but I am a victim of this whole scandal, and because of the experience, what I went through, and because I came out as a survivor from this, not fully, but as a survivor. I use my experience for me to help other people who may be going through it but who are not sure if they're going through it. So I'm on here for me to sort of like get questions from you, but also to try and highlight you on how to navigate your way around this whole scandal thing if you have been affected. I have my colleague on here who I work very closely with, June Elizabeth White Smith Gully. Me and her work very closely together. She has her expertise in a lot of different fields, which is linked to this whole scandal as well. Mine comes from administration, from NHS, from being in this country from a baby. I'm Dominican born, came here 3 months old, lived all my life, and got caught up in this legislation alongside my my youngest son, who was born here. But what I wanted to do was to show people how to be able to get through to this. And one of the first things that if you are affected, what they do ask you to do, or what we feel you should do, if your status is being affected, meaning you're not claimed as British, the first step would be is to go through to registering yourself on the Windrush status scheme. where that way you're able to get your citizenship or naturalization free if you've been affected. There is criteria. I think I'm not sure if Drew knows it a bit better, but I can bring it. I think I've got it on here. Can I share it, Courtney? The screen so that they can have a look at it. Which one is it now? That one. That one. Okay, so it would be.
It's all yours, beloved. It's all yours.
Yeah. Okay. Is it? God. Oh, slideshow. There you go. Why is it? Oh, all right. From beginning. All right. So that's the Windrush scheme application form. What you would have to complete. It tells you the different their criteria, what they're looking for. And I would advise anyone who hasn't got their status regulated or know who someone who has been in this country before 1973, or even if they came as a baby, or they have got a parent or grandparent. This is the application form that you would have to complete in order for you to get your status regulated. And you do get it free. And one thing that I will say, they then do not pass your information over to immigration people because they're not allowed to. Some people are a bit fearful, and what we find as advocates, myself and June, is that the people of the elder generation, well, I'm in my 60s, we're in our 60s, but there's the elders from 70s to 80s don't want to apply for their documentation. But if they don't apply for it, then it affects their siblings or even some of their grandchildren, because their grandchildren should be allowed to. I've got British born children here. I'm not going to say children because they're adults, but they're the same age as my children. And they were not able to get their British passports. And it's only recently they were able to get it because of through this scheme. But it's once you complete this form, as you can see, we'll go through, just have a quick read through it. If you are national of a Commonwealth country or group listed in the Windrush scheme policy, you either settled in the UK before the 1st of January 1970 and have been continuously resident in the UK since your arrival, or you have the right of abode, you can apply for a document confirming you're a British citizen, or have the right of abode, a document confirming you have the right to live permanently in the UK. It has all the different things, but what you have to go through is getting the biometric card first of all. So you would have to go through a routine of having to go in, get your picture taken, submitting some documents if you have got something to show. Even if you've got proof of you were getting benefits, or you've got a National Health Service number, all of that helps as well if you've got the card for you to put through. So that would have to be submitted via the form. And I would say to everyone, go via the scheme first of all. Once you go via the scheme, it then it may give you the option. I'm not going to say it does, because what we're finding is that everyone who goes through the scheme is not getting the entitlement, or they feel that they have been affected in order for them to get compensation. But as you can see, it's a straightforward form. You complete it all with all your details, your nationality. Obviously, you've got your town, you put the country of your birth. But I always say to everyone, put down British, because that's what you're applying for. So don't put, even if you were born, I was born in Dominica, I didn't put down Dominican because I was here from a baby. So I put British, and I would advise everyone to do that. And maybe later on, another thing, I'll explain to you why. But always put down your nationality. So it asks you about your grandparents as well. So if as much information as you can give, it will help them for them to sort of like trace back your history in the UK as well, if your grandparents were here and they came over here. So I would complete the form as thoroughly as possible. There's no, you don't have to write a big story on this one. This is just basically getting the information in order for them to try and trace back to see if you are entitled to getting your citizenship. With Immigration Advisor, the people that we help, we're not immigration advisors, we're advocates. So what we say to them is to put down here, advocate. You can put the name, but try to put somewhere as an advocate, because we're not immigration advisors. You have to be regulated in order to do that. But what we can do is assist you as advocates, or any other of the grassroots organizations can assist you as a backup in case if you do get through to get in the compensation, then we are there to give you first on hand help. And myself and June, we have meetings on a regular basis with the compensation team management. Sometimes, a lot of the times, is to challenge them on some of the claims that are coming out, or if a case needs escalating. But I would say on this, I've had a good resource. I think we've had a good resource on getting people their status, even when they've been out of the country. So it's worked a lot. This with the good character as well. Yeah, I think this is quite, well, it's not new, but they do, if you say yes or you say no, it doesn't mean if you was abroad and you got a record over there, you can put that down, but they're going to find out anyway if you have or you haven't. But this shouldn't affect you. It shouldn't affect you. And if it does, like I said, you can go to the grassroots organizations and they should be able to help you. But if you just complete the form thoroughly, submit it with whatever information you've got, especially if you was working and then you was terminated from your job. A lot of that helps as well, because they can get access to that information. They may say to you, oh, you have to submit this and submit that, but they do have access to it. Trust me, the Home Office has access to everything. So complete it as thoroughly as you can in order for you to be able to get your citizenship or your naturalization form. Gives you the option to attend a ceremony. I didn't, because I didn't want to, but it didn't stop me from getting my certificate as a British citizen. So sorry, I'm really rushing through this because I don't want to. Okay, there you go. So that was the citizenship bit of it. So once you've completed the application form for your status and it's submitted and it comes back saying yes, you will get your citizenship. They do not give you a free passport. I want everyone to know that they do not give you a free passport, but once you it's gone through, you've got your citizenship certificate or your naturalization certificate, then you can then put in for your passport. Sometimes it doesn't take that long. I think mine took nearly maybe 6 weeks. June, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name's June Elizabeth. Only my family in Glenda call me June. I just wanted to say that I kind of used the status form as a base for the Windrush returning residents, and then I gather all the information on that. So there was a family whose mum was in Africa and she wanted to come to England, and she left here in the 60s. She lived here for about 5 years. So there's a returning resident application, but you do it through a portal, and you normally have to do it when you're abroad. But under circumstances, it can be done here with support. So that's a form, as Glenda said, that's a basic form where you collect all the information. So later on, that form, always keep a copy of what you send if you can. Certain information, when they're asked later, you can extract it from that Windrush scheme form. Okay.
Thank you, June. June is like she's my, I'm left hand, so she's my right hand. But we bounce off her. She has a lot more information, detailed information than what I would have. But like I said, the percentage of the people that we have assisted, even with status, we do get a good result. I know Courtney, I'm going to leave that for Courtney to raise about this young lady that was in the newspapers. And when I read about it, it's really sad to see that she had to go via JR. I personally have had a lady who went to court. They didn't want to give her status, but I work alongside some of the law centers, and one of the solicitors from the law center, we fought. She was able to get her status, and she was also able to get her compensation as well. The case wasn't good because certain aspects came out of it, which was good, but she got her compensation and she got her status, and she was of African origin as well, but British African, I must say, and so was her parent who was living here, and I think they didn't want to allow her that, but yes, we won that. She got that. So we were happy about certain things that we can do, which I'm not saying lawyers can't do because they're a lot more experienced than us on the immigration side. But there's little loopholes that we see and we can crawl through and sort of like say, oh, but you forgot this and you didn't realize this. And it normally works. But I'm open for questions now, Courtney, if that's all right, because if anyone was to ask me about the compensation scheme, then I will, but I didn't want to take up my time with it today.
Okay, so what we're going to do before we get into the questions, please, people, keep it brief. Don't monologue, no soliloquies, straight to the point with your questions, please. Sister showed the form, how we can do it. We just need to do it. Sister said about loopholes. There is loopholes. I've read 53 pages of the Windrush scheme, which just came out, the renewed revised version came out in November the 1st. So the first one that had their hand up is Reggie. Go ahead, Reggie.
Yeah, good morning all. Can you hear me?
Can hear you, sir.
Yeah, I just want to make one statement and one question, if that's all right. Due to my experience. Now, with regards to returning residents, if you are a Commonwealth citizen who has arrived in the UK before 1973, you have the right of abode. Why do you have to fill in a form for returning residents? Why don't you fill in the form for the right of abode? Because that can be granted to you. That was granted to my brother. That was granted to my brother in Nigeria. My father arrived in the UK before 1973 and registered as a United Kingdom colony citizen, which means he was able to pass citizenship down. And when my brother came over, even though he had problems and went back to Nigeria, he was able to fill in the form for the right of abode and was issued the right of abode. So for me, I think it's a waste of time going through the process of returning resident visa when you have the right of abode. I mean, if you have the right of abode, you should do that instead, because that gives you a straight path to applying for your British passport. Now, my question on the Windrush is on eligibility. Now, how is it that my dad, who arrived in this country and became a citizen of the United Kingdom of colonies in 1969, was able to pass British citizenship down to me and my brother, born before 1981, even though we were born in Nigeria, is eligible for the compensation scheme, was issued a nil compensation, and in my own case, I was told I'm not eligible because I did not arrive the UK before I was 18. Of what importance is it? I got my right of abode almost at the age of 40. Why didn't they tell me that I didn't arrive the UK before I was 18 to give me the right of abode? That's my question.
June, do you want to answer that in regards to the returning residents?
Yeah, with the returning resident, it depends on the individual. Now, everybody's case is different, but standard-wise, if you lived here before 1973, okay, and you have spent a certain amount of time in the country, like 5 years in the country, and you have left, there is a method of bringing you back as a Windrush returning resident, okay? And there's no charge, anything to do with Windrush, there's no charge, but there are criterias that have to be met. And I can give you a couple. One is that when you come back, right, especially if this lady's been living away from 1965. So she's an elderly lady. When she comes back, you have to let the government know that you can look after that person you're bringing. You have to also let them know that you've got a network of people to look after them. Even though I have found out that the lady, he's getting support from the services that we have, but that is part of the parcel. Yeah. So when you were saying you don't understand why people like don't get right of abode, or why do they have returning resident, the Windrush scheme was created, right, to address certain criterias. And when you apply for compensation, Glenda will tell you there's about 16 different claims. So everything has its own department. Yes. And with the returning resident, when you apply for it, you don't know what the next question is. It just says next, next, next. So what I did, I got that Windrush status and gathered all the information. Yeah. So if you want to know a bit more, I can let you get some more information. But I think that's enough for now. Is that okay, Reggie?
Yeah, sorry, I just muted Reggie then real quick. But oh, you've done it before I did the eligibility.
Yeah, because I wanted him to see the eligibility. I don't know if you can see it on screen. Can you?
I can see it. We can all see it, beloved.
If you read through that, Reggie, what you said, you do fall. That does fall within the criteria, and this is what I say to people when they're submitting their application, or you come across an issue like that. This is their criteria. Reflect that back onto them, because they cannot deny that, because you didn't create this. So this is very interesting, and this is what we have to do, and that's what we're finding that we do when we get back we've submitted a claim in for someone, and then we come across an issue like what you have with your dad. What we do is we go into their rules, we cut and paste, and we send it back to them and say, well, this is what you said. So why do I not fall into that criteria, if you know what I mean? So brilliant. Reggie, please look up the rules. I can't hear you, Reggie. Sorry, you're on mute.
He's there. Unmute yourself, Reggie. But whatever you're gonna say, you're gonna keep it brief, brother, because we're gonna keep the energy flowing, brother. Go ahead, Reggie. Go ahead, brother. If you want to say something real quick.
You're on mute.
He's on mute. You're on mute, Reggie. Unmute yourself, my good brother. All right. Just put it in the chat, whatever point you want to make. If you can't unmute yourself, we're gonna keep it moving.
Sister, okay, I'm on mute now. I'm on mute now.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Right. So if you look at that eligibility criteria, you've got 5 options there.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you don't have to meet all 5 options as a child of a Commonwealth citizen, because option 1, you already meet it. It says if you have a parent that has come into this country and was settled before 1973, you are qualified. So why do they have to apply the other 4? Because what they did to me was to apply number 4, I think, or number 3, where it says the child of a Commonwealth citizen did not arrive the UK before 18. Therefore, is disqualified on that basis. So they are trying to apply all options to you. Why do they have to do that?
Yeah, but if you did, then use that criteria and fight it back onto them. Go onto the .gov.uk website and please look up the rules, the caseworkers rules, and the whole rule of the scheme, and work from that.
Caseworkers
thank you very much.
guidance.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah. Okay.
The caseworkers guidance.
That's right.
That's what they use to mark you. Yeah.
Yes, I have that.
Okay.
Great stuff. People, black, beautiful people, we got to read the guide. Reggie, you made a very good point, brother. You got the criteria, you got the guidance. You made a very excellent point, brother. And you're on it, brother. You're on it. I'm in the same similar predicament as you. So let's move on real quick. Sister Sheelan, are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Sister Sheelan, are you there? Gonna be moving quickly, people.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, sister. Okay, your reception's janky.
Right. My mum came here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, love. Go ahead.
But my mum came here before 73. She left a child back in Jamaica. And he has got children. He's passed away, but is his children, do they have a right to be a British citizen or British national?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question, isn't it, June? I think if it makes him, if it's hard to understand, and I don't want to give you the incorrect answer to that, but if he is classed as British, if he was British when his mum was settled here, but how long has he been out the country? Because I think that's the criteria what they
No.
Did he
Okay,
ever
okay,
come in
but
the country?
yeah.
yes, he's came here twice. He wasn't awarded a British citizenship because my mum never knew about that. So my mum's passed, my brother's passed, but my brother's got 2 children. Well, he's got more children, but the 2 that I know of, or 3, yeah. So for me, it's like, had my mum known, she would have applied for it for him, and then that would have made his children also British citizens,
Yeah, I
even
agree
though they
with
were
you.
born in Jamaica.
Not just what you know, I know it's imperative to ask, but what year did your mum pass away?
A couple years ago, a year ago.
And she had her citizenship?
Yeah, she had her citizenship.
I don't know. I don't know, June. What do you think? Do you think it's still something that he should at least try for? What do you think?
Yeah, there's
Isn't that
no
the
harm.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no
Isn't that
harm
the
in
I'd
trying.
like
deceased
to look at
estate?
that as well. I'd like
Yeah.
to look at Reggie's, and I'd like to look at that because there's lots of gaps and red tapes. There's lots of holes that we could fill
Yeah,
in that.
there is. I think if we can, you can give your details to Courtney and then perhaps send us an email and we'll see how we can help you with that. Because there is gaps.
100%. You know what? What comes to mind is the deceased estate
Yeah.
part. People, you can
Absolutely.
apply for grandparents who have passed on, parents who have passed on. There's a thing called the deceased estate. Correct me if I'm wrong, sisters, Sister June and Sister
No,
Glenda.
there is.
You can go for it, you know. So
Yeah, but
yeah, that's what I would
excuse
say.
me. Yeah, like the Windrush compensation scheme. Some people think because they are of the Windrush generation, yeah, that they qualify. There's a criteria. You
Yeah.
have had to have lost something. Yes, you've had to have lost your job, maybe lost your home, couldn't use the NHS system because you couldn't prove you had a British citizenship, right? You never had your British status. So people that have got their British citizenship and they worked and they got a job, the compensation scheme is set up for people who was denied their status. And because they were denied their status, like Sister Glenda, they lost their job. Yeah. So you've got to have lost something to meet the criteria. It's not a scheme because we're Windrush, we can just apply.
Yeah.
To compensate people that the government did not give the status to, and because of that, they lost out on life's journey.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. So I just want to share something real quick. That this is all available for us to read. There's an old saying, anything you want to hide from black people, put it in a book. Today, anything you want to hide from black people, put it online. We're not reading enough. Look at this. Windrush Compensation Scheme, Deceased Estate Claim Form. Go and check it out. I will copy and paste this into the chat. And I do believe Sister Jan is next. Sister Jan, go ahead. You did have your hand up.
I was going to ask it, but June, just this minute, we kind of answered it, so there's no point in me asking anymore.
All right, no worries. Thank you, Sister Jan, and thank you, Sister Sheeling, for your question. Ewan Herbert, if I got your name right, sorry, my brother, if I got it wrong, I apologize, family, to you.
Ewan.
Ewan.
Yeah.
Ewan.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I just picked up on the question from the lady previously about her brother, I think it is in Jamaica. I've successfully registered as a British citizen someone in the exact same situation. And there might be a possibility that that person could, if they don't already have British citizenship, be entitled to it. It will be worth looking at. Obviously, there's a lot of variables and factors, so it would be worth looking at to see if they qualify for citizenship status and then ultimately compensation because they couldn't previously obtain it.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So I think take some details and maybe forward it to me. I can look at it in the future.
Okay. Well, we've asked them already if they contact Courtney, and then we can see anyone who feels that they have been affected in any way. We're here to, we're open, and there is organizations about. I've also got a link to the Windrush Justice Clinic, who offers free legal advice, or they try to assist you if they've got capacity. And these are different. It's a collective of different lawyers and legal people from the law centers around the country. So, and the universities as well are assisting as well. The legal universities are assisting as well. So we do have capacity to help people, especially if they're going through either the tier 1 or the tier 2 review. And the tier 1 means if you put in a claim for compensation and it came back as a nil award, you then have to go on to a tier 1 review, which you can get assistance with. And if you're refused again, then you go on to a tier 2, which is just before it goes on to the adjudicator, independent.
Right.
Adjudicator.
You know what? That's brilliant. Sister Glenda, that's brilliant, because I just want to share something quickly with everyone that I had a conversation with the Home Office. I called up the Windrush helpline team. I've read our collective known as the book club. We read the 53 pages of the Windrush compensation scheme. The term status is one of the words that we've been looking into, and there's many. What we do in our book club, we're studying legalese, which is the language of the Law Society, and we have discovered that a lot of the forms are written in legalese. And good Sister Glenda just mentioned the adjudicator process. Yeah. Now, when we hear adjudicator, family, what's the first thing that comes in our head when we hear the word adjudicator? Yeah. We think of an old white man with a beard or a wig and a gravel. We get intimidated. Wizard of Oz. Adjudicator is just a volunteer who goes to the magistrate. And I'm going to show a conversation real quick that I had. And thanks to Sister Glenda, Sister Jan, everyone's just been helping, encouraging us, because now with that encouragement, I called up the Home Office and I asked key questions, and I recorded the conversation. I recorded it and I asked key questions, and I want you to all follow suit. Now let's move on real quick. Next one who's got a hand up is Trisha. If you can unmute yourself with your beautiful black hand up. Go ahead, Trisha. Sorry if I'm...
Trisha. Okay, I'm calling you. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm in St. Lucia at this point. My question is regarding to I think we need clarity on the right of abode. I still have not fully, should I say, understood the right of abode process, in the sense that I've gone through, I'm at the stage with the compensation where I've been denied twice, nil award twice, stating the 2-year rule. However, I felt that, I think around 1978, 79, 80, I was stamped in an old passport right of abode, because I've been living in the UK, my husband and myself, from myself 63 and my husband 1960. I've spoken to, I was on a Zoom call a couple of weeks ago as well with the compensation scheme. So this is next question. And I've spoken to an ex-prime minister just this week, Tuesday gone.
Wow.
With regards to the fact that constitution law, because the statement came out that we lost when the islands became independent, we lose our British citizenship. So my husband and I lost it on the time of independence. Now, in speaking with him, he's a constitutional lawyer,
Wow.
and he said that's ridiculous because that law was for the persons that was on the island at the time of independence. It has nothing to do with Britain. And when I read the Barbados independence law, the St. Lucia independence law, it has nothing. So I believe the Home Office is in error.
Yep.
With regards to how they are classifying people and wanting to give, and also they are in error with the right of abode, because with the right of abode, you can stay out of the country as long as you want, and you can come back into the country. And there is you don't lose your status. But what I'm reading from them for myself and my husband is that we lost our status, and whatever happened to us happened, and we were not legally British at the time when the incidents happened. However, the incidents happened because we did not have documentation to prove that we were legal in the country at the time. And at that point in time, we had been living in the country for 25 years for my husband and 22 years for myself.
Wow.
It wasn't just a 5 minute.
Trish is so right. Hi, morning to you, Trisha.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah,
Good morning.
She's so right, and I know with Trisha's pace. This has been going on for quite some time with Trisha and her husband.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years exactly. That's how
3
long.
years for the compensation. We got our citizenship.
Yeah, but
we got the returning resident. Sorry, Glenda.
It's okay, my love. You cannot hold someone responsible for a country getting independence if you're in the UK already. And this is what they try to do. And they try to do it for a lot of people, and try to use that as a ruling against the people that they put in that position. And it's something that we do. We talk about it all the time. Trust me, and June Elizabeth, we bring it up all the time to the head. But they try to wiggle their way out of it. And that's what we're finding, is that they're moving the goalpost. But when they move that goalpost, we move closer and put in another shot in to say, no, you can't escape from that. And it's something that we're going to continue. It would be so nice if a case like Trisha's was able to go to court. I'm not saying that we're going to win, because look at this poor lady that was in the papers. She didn't win at all, and she should have done, because her father was a British citizen and she should have been able to get it. Why? Because of the papers that they lost, and they didn't give us the rights for us to turn around and say that we're British citizens. I don't know if June wants to come in and have an opinion on that one as well.
Well, what I have experienced is that sometimes, most of the time, it depends on the person, the caseworker, and the experienced caseworker. A lot of them make mistakes, and at the moment I'm just sorting a mistake out. The mistake, and then they'll cover each other's back, because if they said nil, and then it goes to a review, the chief caseworker, she does. Nobody wants to go against her and say, well, she was wrong.
Yeah.
But when something's wrong, it cannot be right. And that is the letter I wrote this morning to send to certain places. Yeah. So you have to challenge, because a lot of the time they are wrong.
Yeah.
That's right.
And people just give up.
Yeah.
What Trisha's not giving up. Thursday,
Trisha's not giving up. Trust me, she's not giving up.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving up. Definitely, they have what they say, touch the tiger's tail. Because the thing is that when we applied as returning residents, how many years, and they kept denying us. When the scandal broke, we applied and we got returning residents status straight away. We got no time limit straight away. And I kept insisting that I had right of abode. My husband had right of abode, because we've done our schooling. I was even in the British Army.
Oh, wow.
However, when the and I'm sharing this for us to be sensitive to what is happening within the Home Office, because we got our citizenship within, say, 22 months. It is now 36 months since we applied for compensation, and nil award, nil award, nil award. And with the citizenship, the chief, the persons that was working on it stated that we did not lose our status. So they went ahead and offered us citizenship. Not only that, I wrote to the MP, and the MP wrote to the Home Office to tell them not to give us our citizenship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's so much that has
Yes.
been set up against us.
Yes.
Can I just say in regards to like Trisha, one thing that Trisha works on this very deeply, even though she does get support as well, but she's doing her own investigation. And what we're finding is that if you feel you're going to work on it by yourself, I would say get all your information from the Home Office, because you'd be surprised what information they hold. So do ask for a subject access request to get your information. I would say that.
Excellent, excellent stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Trish, because it was in the subject access request that I found out about the MP, and I found out that the officer said we did not lose our status.
Yeah.
Look at that. See what Trisha just said there? This is what we need. The reason why Sister Trisha is making traction is because she knows her rights. She knows the legislation. She knows difference between constitutional law and that which is just legislation. There is a difference, family. We really got to know that. And what Sister Trisha just said there is so key. And I want to show everyone something real quick. I really need us to do this for the sake of ourselves and our babies. Go ahead and get a PDF version of this book right here. Anything they want to hide from you, they put it in our book, and it's called Black's Laws Dictionary, which is what? It gives you the definitions of words, everyday words that we use, like understand, contract, the word citizenship, words like status.
Yeah.
You think the word status, we think rather that the word status means one thing, but in this Black's Laws Dictionary, it means another thing according to the adjudicators, according to those who have public oath of office, according to those in the venue of a court. So when you look at the word status, the word legal status will differ from the term lawful status.
Yeah.
And I remember reading in a 53-page document where it says, if you've been here long enough, undocumented, then you have a lawful, not legal, lawful right of abode. That's not me saying it. That's not Sister Glenda saying it or anyone else. That's the Home Office saying it. We can take what they have written, like Wing Chun, Kung Fu, and use it against them, people. For those who used to go to Kung Fu night Friday nights back in the 70s and 80s, you look too young. But anyway, I say that for reference. So please read. Legal status. They keep repeating the word status in the paperwork. So go ahead and understand the difference between lawful, legal, common law, and that which they say is statutes or legislative law. There is a difference. Legalese, beloved. So we got just moving on real quick.
Courtney, thank you so much for saying that, because I feel as if that's exactly what we had to turn around and do for us, in order for us, because there's also a claim that you can put in for close family members who supported the primary claimant. If the primary claimant, meaning the person who was affected, has got siblings, a partner, you know, brothers or sisters who supported them financially or emotionally. But we had to fight in order for us to get the close family members the rights to be reimbursed and compensated correctly, because they were using the same kind of, they were refusing to allow them to, they would call it double jeopardy. If a primary claimant got compensated, they'd say, oh no, well, what if they were working, their money would have been able to do shopping, but they didn't have the option. So this is this is the things that we do. We have to keep challenging them all the time, and I want people to understand that as well. Please.
That's right, beloved.
Because what I had to do in order for me, and I'm going to say personally, because I fought for this for living costs for close family members. What I had to do was use their policies, use their terminology against them to
Come
say,
on.
this is what you said.
Yes.
And this is what I'm saying to people, please read.
Come
Read
on.
up and look and use their own wordings against them, because they really believe, and I hate to say it, they believe people of color are docile and we don't understand.
Hey. Well,
right?
you know,
And I'm just going to say it straight. So now we have
yes.
no. And I always say to them, even when we go on the meetings, I say that, but I was educated here. So I'm only giving you what you gave to me. You taught me this. So I'm
Come
throwing
on.
it back at you. So I want people
See
to
there?
understand that as well.
That's right. So Ewan, I know you have got a point to make, brother, but before I make the point or bring you in and make the point, what Sister Glenda just said there, we've got to read. Can I share with you briefly a conversation I had with the Home Office? I public servants, so this is not, I was overly polite and I asked key questions based upon what we learn at book club. And by the way, a lot of us are scared to read in the Black community. We mustn't be afraid. And if you are, please join the book club that we do twice a week. It's fun, we're learning, and it's made us more confident. And you know what they say, knowledge is power. Unfortunately, Black people collectively are illiterate. I don't mean to offend us when I say that. I didn't say we're stupid, but we are illiterate, that we don't know our unalienable rights.
So the senior reviewer, their name is Dino Salvatore.
Sorry, their senior caseworker.
Right, so what I was doing there, family, the first thing, because I heard her say caseworker, I heard her say senior caseworker, or those who review. We got a bad habit of when we're phoning a council or any company or corporation saying, can I speak to the director? Can I speak to Lucian Council? Can I speak to the corporation? No, you must ask for first, last name, title, position. First, last name, title, position. Why? Because once you've got a man or a woman that is liable for your casework or to review from tier 1 to 2, trust me, you got them by the short and curlies, mate. In a accent, I say that. Get the last and first name, first and last name. Yeah? All right, let's carry on.
Oh, sorry. Senior reviewer is Dino Salvatore.
Okay.
Salvatore, yes.
And that's the one that was responsible for your claim was referred to.
Position.
Right.
And then
What's their pronoun? Sorry, I don't want to make a mistake with their pronoun.
And I wasn't being offensive when I asked for their pronoun. I'm being serious because it's, you know, the world is that now. Okay, let's carry on.
He, him.
Okay, got you. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Jane. Sorry, you were saying.
And then the one that made the final decision is Gareth Robinson.
I'm assuming.
Do you see how much power? Listen, first and last name, people. Yeah, all right.
And their pronoun is he, him too.
Yeah.
All right, got you. So there's no adjudicator that's been attached to this case. Is there? It's just that's not at this point.
Remember, the adjudicator is like the Wizard of Oz. You think it's this grand somebody, but it's a little somebody behind the curtain. No disrespect, but they're not powerful like that. You are the power people. Find out what's happening. English now, sir.
Is it?
No, so we would need to wait for you to send in your response to the tier 1 review decision, and then it will be sent to the adjudicator's office.
And what would, okay, so is there an appointed adjudicator, or is it just someone that just comes in and volunteers when they feel, when they're required to do that?
I'm not sure about the process that they have over there. I do have a contact number though, if you do want to take it down, just good.
0300.
05.
I'm a decision maker. I know this is a lot of questions, but I do thank you. Are they public? Would they be deemed as?
Listen to this question. This is key, people. Remember, there's constitutional law, Sister Tricia was saying. Constitutional law reigns supreme. Constitutional law is not subordinate to legislation. So the question we all should ask is this. Listen.
As public servants with a public oath?
I would.
Well, did I stutter when I asked the question? Hold on.
Scheme, which just came out in November of this month, the new one, the revised one.
Yeah.
That's the 53 pages one. Okay. Okay, this is all just clarification. Also, just to confirm that the senior reviewer and the original decision maker? I know this is a lot of questions, but I do thank you. Are they public? Would they be deemed as public servants with a public oath?
I would say so, yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. I mean, these are new things. Sorry.
That's fine. Ask any question that you want. I have got my manager next to me anyway, so
Oh,
if you have a difficult question,
good stuff.
then I can just ask them.
You had a manager next to her. And I'm not trying to be, we've got to, people, be nice to them. Don't call them and say, listen, we want me money or not? We want me reparation money. Babylon. No. Be nice, courteous, kind to the staff at the Home Office. They are employees, and a lot of them don't know that you are reading, that we are holding this forum right now to inform ourselves. So sometimes play fool to catch wise. Be nice. No, but truly, be nice.
Good stuff. And this conversation's recorded as well, so I know they're going to think, oh, wow, you know, we may need an extension, but I'll put that all in writing anyway, so that's not a problem.
Oh.
So what I was saying to her is that I'm going to put everything in writing. Now I know the names of, now I know the process, and it's all recorded. And as Sister said, Trisha said, she said a subject access request. Or if you want to find out more, you can do what's called a freedom of information request. Sister Glenda, did you want to say something there, beloved? Or you?
No, I was listening to that, and that was nice to know that they had a manager next to them listening, because normally it means that obviously that person's in training, but it was good enough. And I know you have to go for you put in your claim first of all, then you have a review. After they come back and that review says no, nil award, then you go through to tier 1.
Right.
If you go through tier 1 and it comes back nil award again, then you go to tier 2. Tier 2 is when it then goes on to adjudicator. But sometimes what we find between the review, the first review, and tier 1, the mistake that they make on the review alone shouldn't even have to give you access to a tier 1, because they didn't follow that criteria. And this is what we're finding a lot of. And we're like, hold on, you're giving us work to do. I think we've mentioned that we don't get paid to do this. Let me let everybody know now. We're doing this voluntary. But I let everybody know I have been compensated because I fought for my compensation. They had to give me 3 to 4 offers. And then I was said, that's what you owe me, because I fought for it. That was when the scheme had just started. Now they're getting a little bit more complicated, and they're not as forthcoming with the awards as they were back then. But I fought for it. Hence the reason why myself and June Elizabeth are here still fighting, because we knew the struggle that we had to go through. And we know the changes that we are making when we sit and we challenge them. I'm not going to say talk to them, because we challenge them. We've just come back from a meeting with them. And trust me, I think they were a bit frightened of us, because we were very straightforward with them. Very straightforward with them. And we don't hold back. One of the things what they do not understand, and I want everyone to know this, is that they don't understand our culture. And it doesn't matter if you're from South Asia, if you're from Jamaica, if you're from Trinidad, they do not understand our culture. And it's what we've had to say to them. If you want to know, go and find out, because you're going to get someone come on the phone with a different dialect. I'm not speaking my country's language, which is Creole, Patois. I was raised here, but I was raised people from different nationalities of the Caribbean and Asian. I've got Syrian, Kenyan, Indian grandchildren. Can you believe that? And I have to learn them as well. I have to learn about their culture and learn about where their mother came from. But these people do not understand that. And this is what we're trying to show them. You have to learn the group of people that you're working with. You have to. And we did notice something, but I'm not going to bring it up on here because that's confidential. But we noticed something at this meeting.
We'll have a private talk about that one. I'd love to.
But you have to, like you said, please be knowledgeable. If you are unable to do it, then get a family member to help you, to assist or reach out to us, please. I'm telling you. But do not lose out on what you're rightfully entitled to.
Thank you so much. And, I'm going to bring in you in real quick in a moment. So please, everyone contacts us, the Glenda. We're going to do a course workshop where we dive deeper next year, 2025. Also, for those who want to join book club, you want to learn about natural rights and legalese, language of the Law Society, please email us at thepowerofconsent@gmail.com. That's thepowerofconsent@gmail.com. Now, sister, real quick before I bring in Ewan, brother Ewan, the impact on life. Because I want to speak to you about my personal claim that I'm making, and we'll do that offline at another time. But the impact on life, sister, what I read is that if you got different sections of the impact on life for the Windrush scheme, and so there's 10,000, and there's more. If there's more of an impact, then it goes up and up. Is that correct, sis?
Well, it's sort of, because now we're finding they're still giving you 10,000, whether the impact on life was major.
Wow.
That's why I said that they're minimizing it. But what we're finding, what they are looking for now, which I say to a lot of people, if you feel you were, we're a cohort of people suffering from high blood pressure. Now, just making a call like what you did can traumatize that, can raise your blood pressure and relive the trauma that you've had to go through.
Oh, wow.
And it's all about trauma. That's what it's all about. It's all about trauma, what we've had to go through. There you go. Loss of jobs, housing, healthcare, all of that participate. Or you, like myself, I was reading the letter last night as I was going through my thing, where I had gone to get psychological help because I had contemplated suicide. I'd never done that as a single mother of 4 children. And I was like, oh my God, this is what you lot have done to me. But these certain things happen. Even being stopped at the airport for 10 minutes to question your status, that's trauma. As you can see, June's shaking her head, so I know she has something to say. So please come in, June, please.
Yes, Sister June.
Yes, when you mentioned, I'll just come to the last thing that you mentioned, Sister Glenda. When you mentioned getting stopped at the airport, there's a section, if you read it, as the brother's saying, if you read it, if you're stopped for half an hour, X amount of compensation. If you're stopped for 2 hours, and some people, they get stopped at the airport, but they're so glad hours later when they're released that they don't even remember if they put that down. And that's very important as well.
Yeah.
You know?
It's £500 for every hour that you're stopped.
Yes, and some people don't even realise that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know what? I have to ask this question because this is what we discuss in the book club, Sisters June and Sister Glenda, that though they don't say in the compensation scheme form racism and discrimination, we know racism is a crime. We know that it's a crime. And crime is what basically crime is trespass, harm, and loss, common law jurisdiction. England, the UK, is common law jurisdiction. So there's something we need to learn and know here. So I'd like to put a question in terms of the impact of life. When it comes to being detained, stopped, deported, is it that people, black people, are we being stopped, deprived of public goods and services, deported, detained, which has an emotional weight upon the mind? Can we connect this to racism? Meaning, what I'm asking is, we have been detained and stopped because of the color of our skin?
No.
No?
No, we've got to remember the boundaries. This Windrush compensation scheme is nothing to do with racism or prejudice or no. It's to do with the loss of not being able to prove you're British citizen. Because that goes into another era. That goes over to repatriation.
Repatriation, yeah, it does.
Yeah? So we mustn't get the lines muddled up. I had a lady that wanted to get the impact of life filled up by myself. And when I asked her why, she'd worked, she'd lived, she got a house, got a car, she's retired, got money in the bank. So she didn't lose anything, but she brought up a racism situation from 1978. And I said to her, you know, most people of colour, born here or not born here, they would have experienced some form of racism. Some might not even realise. So that doesn't come into this, my dear brother.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't. Even though there is a historical report that has been written, but what we don't want to do is confuse the two. We're facing racism every day as a people. We're facing it every day. But because of this, we know this is a racist scheme. We know that. We know it's brought via racism. But what we don't want to do is confuse it, because then what you do is you're clogging up the system and preventing the people who have rightfully have to claim for the impact that this whole scandal has had on them from getting the justice that they rightfully deserve. That is what we say. There's repatriation, and then there's this scandal. And that's what we have to. Hostility is racist, but
yes,
that
ma'am.
is not what the scheme is about. And that's what we want to let people understand. So let's deal with that. Once we can get this sorted out, obviously there's other organizations who are dealing with the repatriation. And we, of course, we rightfully support them, but we don't want to clog this system up.
Got you. Okay, thank you for. I've got a sister here, Sister Flash, and then we're going to bring brothers in after. Apologies, brothers. Let's bring a queen in, and then we're bringing the kings in. Go ahead, Sister Flash.
Right, I'm going to say something, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding controversial, but I have to say this because I know you said racism is not a thing of this Windrush scandal, but it is. It starts off with that, and I'll tell you why. Because they didn't do anything to protect us.
Excuse me, can I interrupt you a minute? Sorry to interrupt you. I didn't say that. I'm just saying, in this scheme, what we're talking about, that is not something that you get compensated for. I just wanted to make that clear. So we can all talk about the racism. We live it every day. And when you're dealing with the compensation, you feel it, you see it, you taste it. Yeah, the transference. But we cannot divert and lose out the compensation that people are entitled to, because that's not one of the 16 claims that you can claim for.
Sorry,
you know what I say? You know why I say this? Shall I say why I say this? Because too many times they give us labels, they give us conditions, and you don't allow you to think outside the box. And then anytime things change, when somebody challenges what they're saying, and I'm challenging what they're saying, because although they say no, that's not part, that's for another thing, it's not. It starts off with that because they never protected us. They protected the other groups, like the LBQT, whatever alphabet names they are, they get protected straight away. We never did. That's why people was allowed to be racist to us. They're not allowed, you're not allowed to say anything against those people. Not 1 cent. They brought out race relations law because of it. But we suffered enough of it. So for them to say, no, that's not part of it. It is. They brought us over by invitation. And then they didn't protect us with the invitation. So that should be something that should be, me personally, I would challenge it. I would challenge it because too many times we let them give us those labels and we say, okay, we won't step outside of it. Why not? Why not?
Okay, can I just come in for a minute? I'll tell you something very briefly. Yes. I was born here. Yeah. Where I was born, I was the first black girl born in my town. In 1978, I was the only black police officer in my county. And before that, I was a double qualified nurse. So I'm an experienced person. In 1980, I was stripped of my citizenship. And I started this work from 1980. And I was born here. So I do understand what you're saying. Okay? And they were trying to make us born here. They took away our citizenship. And they were bringing in another law. So I found out that when they make their policies, when they make their laws, what they do, you see the full stop, when they're ready, they turn it into a comma. They add something on, and then we all become, I went into a meeting as a citizen born here, and I was in my 20s, and after 15 minutes, I was told I'm an alien unless I pay £50 to be a citizenship. That's when Mrs. Thatcher was in. And that's when I took up this role. So I do understand what you're saying, my sister. Do not think I don't. Yeah, I've been through every system. And that's why I'm fighting for people that need that help.
If I may interject, beloved, what you're saying, Sister June, Sisters Glenda, is absolutely right. You are going to the book. I don't think Sister Splash has it's not with yourself, sister. I think it's with the Home Office, as we all collectively have a contention with them. Sister Flash, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, let me shut my mouth. Sorry, sister.
I have to say I commend you guys, number one, for what you're doing. Yeah. But you always find someone has to do something different. And I'm the one that would want to do something different. So I personally would look at that. I'm looking at that side myself because, as you know, law changes in circumstances. A lot of times you have law, and then when the situation arises, it changes. And there's times things have to be challenged. So yes, you have that co-op for that side. But me personally, if I'm gonna put something in, I'm putting that in, and you tell me why that I can't put that in. But I'm not telling you, I say I'm talking about them. So I understand that. For me, I challenge. I like to challenge things. And so I would be looking at challenging that. Don't know when, but that's one of my intentions to do. Because I do feel we have to start speaking up now. Yes. I remember the LGBT people were jumping on our backs to get what they got. But we let them jump on our backs and then jump over us and then we left standing. That is
Listen, we agree with you 100%. There's no ifs or buts. When this first started, I'm calm now. I was an angry black woman. Trust me. All my interviews, I was like, nah, that's it. Nah. And I said, this is modern day slavery. You know, you asked for my parents to come over here. I'll come over here. We help your NHS. We did, because I worked with NHS for over 20 odd years. I got kicked out of school. I faced all of that racism. I didn't put that in my application because you know why? It was nothing to do with me being kicked out of school. This was them taking my job away from me and not classing me as a British citizen and then telling me my child is not British even though he's born here. And that's one of the first things I said. I said, this is racist. You lot are racist. And I sat in the office with the 3 senior people, and I said that to them. As far as I'm concerned, I feel as if you lot are being racist towards me, even though my mum brought me here and encouraged me to be a civil servant, and this is what I get, a kick in the face. So we do understand the racism, and trust me, we're not afraid to say it. Like I said, I can't say in the meeting what we had the other day, but something close to that was brought up, and we answered them. Well, I wasn't afraid to answer them, but I answered them, trust me. So we are fighting that cause. But what we have to do is deal with this justice of what the taking away someone's financial life, what they were in, even if they owed bills, you took that away from them. So we want to put them back into the position that they previously was, and the repatriation movement. I'm going to say this, the government doesn't want us to be rich, all right? As a co-op people, they don't want it because they know we'll have more power. But guess what's the greatest power on earth? You see this malt, this, and not being afraid, and reading.
And knowledge.
That's what's the greatest power. That's what we have to start using.
Wisdom. Knowing their policy, know how to go around it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely have to challenge this, push the needle on it. Let's move on to Brother Egbert. Is it Brother
Ewan?
Sorry,
no,
Brother
Ewan was there first.
Ewan. Thank you. That's right, Ewan. Brother Ewan, my bad. Sorry.
Courtney, my hand tired, you know. I hold up my hand for.
Yeah, I'm tired, man. You feel lift weight, you know. Fitness first.
See, look at Glenda laughing. So Glenda, I was detained for 3 months, and then 2 weeks, and then 1 week. So how much money that?
There's a tariff. If you go,
how much money that?
You and I'll send you the tariff.
I know the tariff, man. I'm just messing with you. I know how it go already.
Enough money.
Yeah, I know. Plus all the other things that they done to me.
Yeah.
But I think in support of what Sister Flash was saying, just quickly, that I think there's a qualifier that, you know, obviously racism occurred, but there's a qualifier that means that you qualify under the scheme before you can actually make a claim. So either, you know, you were impacted or somebody close to you were impacted, and then you could bring in all the other stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, and then for June Elizabeth, if you were born in the UK before 1983, you're British, unless your father was a diplomat. That's the law. So moving on to my 2 questions now, because I've got 2 questions for you, Glenda. With the case of the young lady from St. Lucia, Janelle, under the Windrush compensation scheme, a Commonwealth citizen or a person whose parent or grandparent was a Commonwealth citizen who entered the UK before 1973, and that person, the child or grandchild, entered the UK before their 18th birthday, they qualify under the compensation scheme, right?
You're correct. You're correct, Ewan.
Right.
And this is why I don't understand why this case, because when I read it, I was like, who is dealing with this case for? How did she use this?
So Right. So if you qualify under the compensation scheme, how could you not qualify under the status documentation scheme?
Right. Well, and this is what they're doing is the same thing like what Trisha says. They're using that 2-year rule, what they brought in. And they're trying to use that as some kind of barrier against people.
So
See, brothers and that. Well, I really don't know how she lost this case. I'm being honest. I really don't know. And I wish that I knew she was so we could at least have a look into it.
yeah.
Because that needs looking into. When I read the whole case, I was out of London when I read it, and I was like, where did this come from? So I spoke to Courtney earlier on about it, and I couldn't believe it because her father was a British citizen. Her brothers were able to get it, so why wasn't she allowed to?
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure about. I know
Yeah.
her father came in 1956. I know St. Lucia became independent in 79. I wasn't sure if
Her
he
father was here before the independence. Same thing like
yeah.
what she was saying, and
Yeah.
they're using that against us. It's a 2-year rule
Yeah.
that they've sort of like squeezed it in.
So I don't know what her father's if her father was here all the time, if he had any difficulties, if he naturalized. But sorry,
real quick, if I may, we did read this article in book club the other night that we have, and it does say rather, her brothers, also similar to her, the sister, remained in England.
Yeah.
Her father, Windrush, had no paperwork, but remained here in England.
Right.
So because his status was not confirmed, sister left because of her visa, student visa expired, and tried to gain re-entry. She actually was acting legally in accordance to the rules, but can't gain re-entry. But her father's here, and one of the eligibilities in the criteria is you have to have business, family, work, something here to annex you to the UK, which she was able to prove. And when we read through this in book club, it's quite vague, didn't go into everything. Her barrister messed her up, and she's now going for an appeal to the High Court. I don't know what High Court she's going to, but we need to do a freedom of information, if we can, to find out what the case is, to have a careful perusal of what's going on. Because
I've got the judgment.
I'm looking at the dates as well,
exactly.
and I think they're using because she came in after the scheme was up. She was 17 though, so
she was under 18. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
so
she was under 18.
So the point I'm trying to make is, if the compensation scheme allows for that, but the documentation scheme doesn't, then we have schemes that are out of sync. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. They're not synchronized.
Definitely. This is what I'm saying. This is what I don't understand why this case why she lost this case, because when you look at their legislations and their policies, this lady should have got her right. But what they're saying is that I believe that what they're saying is because her father was here in 1956 and he was okay, or he was working, he got all of this, that he has no historic injustices. Is that what they're saying? And they've used that on another case, one of the cases that I'm working very closely with. They use that as well. But this is where they catch us out. But I'm disappointed with her legal team. I really am. When I read this, I really am.
That's meant to be Lee Day. But anyway,
oh, was it? Oh, my
yeah, Lee Day. But then I think they had a barrister from somewhere else.
Okay, my apologies.
But on to my second question now. I want to know.
Real quick though, people.
Yeah, it's going to be real quick. Don't worry, Egbert. Egbert's going to wait for me. We Are Digital, now called We Are Group, right? These are the people that the Home Office have contracted to deal with helping these, getting these claims done.
Yeah.
What do you know about them? Who are they? Who's running them? What's the relationship with the Home Office? And do we need to be sending in freedom of information requests to see how they're getting paid and what monies they've been paid? Because I'm hearing some shady stuff coming to light right now, and we need to look into them.
Said that. Someone else said that to me the other day and asked the same question.
These people here, good brother? Let me show everybody on screen. Is it these people? We Are Group? Is it?
Yeah, but
previously We Are Digital, yes.
I like the way that they publicized it.
Got a skinny team, nice. good.
Would you like me to just answer that question?
Yeah, I would,
Please.
June, please.
Okay. Originally they were CAB, Citizens Advice Bureau. When I was Home Office Windrush ambassador, when they trained us to give out the information, Citizen Advice Bureau lost the contract to We Are Digital. We Are Digital is the same people that have changed their name to We Are Grouped. The headquarters is in Coventry, okay? And they have got a special line for the Windrush. Now,
thanks for the love you always show me.
Up there, please mute.
And I won't
Everybody
forget you're gonna
stop
have to
talking.
bring some things for
is there another
I will call you.
conversation going on?
Somebody needs to
One
mute.
second.
You know I wanted to do something for this.
All right, just mute. We don't want to hear that talking in the background. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. Go ahead, sister. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
So just to recap, I had a client that I had to refer to We Are Grouped, right? So We Are Grouped, what they do, they hire, say, like, if there's a library or community centre. So if you're based in Brixton, you would be sent to the nearest one, which is in Stockwell. It's a community centre. And then you've got two people that work for We Are Grouped that maybe come on a Wednesday morning and a Thursday afternoon. But you have to book it through the headquarters in Coventry. Okay. So when I booked my client, the manager was saying, I'll have to look and see, and I could tell him where. Now, if you live over Tottenham, it's at the Marcus Garvey Library. Because before I send my clients to anywhere, if I have to, right, I go there first and see who's going to look after them. And then when my clients go, I'm with them on the phone. Yeah, because if there's anything that's not going either way, I come in and support them. So that's who We Are Group are. They're the same people as We Are Digital.
Sorry, sister, we can't see your face, beloved, properly on the camera. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. So that's just a nutshell of who they are.
Okay. Thank you so much. Someone
They've been contracted to help us, and some of the workers, they've told me personally that they haven't got the proper training. So I've had to train some of them before I send my client there to make sure, and then they ring me. So I think they've adjusted that, but they always have a turnover of new people practicing on us. Okay.
All right, sis. Thank you so much. Ewan just said, I looked the We Are Digital on Company's House. Its director is a Polish national. Go to Company's House, people, family, and start researching who the company directors of these places are. It's absolutely disgusting, to be honest with you, that they are not giving us the funding to set up our own grassroots groups so we can handle our own economics of the crimes that has happened to us. It's disgusting, and only we can change it. So let's go ahead to Egbert and then Sister Trisha again. Go ahead, bro.
All right. Hi, everyone. Two very quick ones. One to is it Flash? Sister Flash there, Padira?
Yeah. Is there a question or point, my good brother?
So I was just going to raise 2 quick points. One, she mentioned racism aspect of it.
Yes, sir.
She said she's going off in a different direction. I was going to suggest she looked at the Race Relations Amendment Act 2000, and that kind of legalized some aspects of racism or discrimination from certain institutions towards certain groups on the basis of security. So she has a look at that piece of legislation.
Type that into the chat, please, my good brother.
Sorry?
I am familiar with it, but point why I brought up racism, I said because they brought these acts out to protect us eventually. But when we came into the country, they didn't protect us.
Okay,
That's
cool.
the point I'm making. They didn't protect us. They did it eventually, but how long did it take for them to protect us? So in that time, there was no protection against racism.
All right, cool.
That's
And
the point I was making.
The second thing I was going to ask was to the guy who's speaking there. In your definition, what is common law?
To who's that question to, sir?
To you, sorry, because earlier on you were talking, you said England is a common law jurisdiction.
Yeah.
What is your definition of common law?
Not my definition, the definition of
what
common law.
What is the definition, yeah.
Yeah. So the definition of common law is simply three principles: injury, harm, loss, or injury, harm, trespass.
Okay. Thank you.
So, I mean, again, see, people, when you go and do your research, every single public oath bearer, don't believe what I'm saying here, has to sign what is called an attestation. Yeah? Or in layman's term, an oath of office. Your council members have an oath of office. The people that work in Lambeth or Lewisham and different council boroughs all over London and the UK have what is called a public oath of office. Your local police constabulary have a public oath of office, which is signed up to protect and police or policy makers under common law, not to pull you up and harass you or to cause you harm and cause you anxiety. But if we don't know our rights, you have none. That's the bottom line. The Home Office are a problem with the scandal as they reported in 2018. Other things are an issue, but the real issue is our illiteracy and lack of knowledge. The Bible even says, my people are destroyed due to a lack of hearthiring? No. Due to a lack of church or mosque? No. Due to a lack of knowledge. That's what God said. I didn't say. So common law is the Bible that the king swore an oath to govern the realms on. That's what his whole coronation was about. And we think, oh, it's all about we've got to pay this and do that and so forth. And if you want to, go ahead. But you've got to know your common law rights. The Home Office is an agency of the government that has signed a public oath of office to serve you and I, the public. And that's common law. Common law is meant to protect us or remedy us if we've had injury, harm, and loss.
Thank you.
That's my words, by the way. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice.
No. There's other definitions, but that's why I asked you, for the benefit of the audience, to explain what your definition of common law was. But thank you very much for saying that.
Brother,
all right,
brother, that's a beautiful question, brother. Beautiful. Let's move on real quick. Sorry, people. I think who had that? Sister Trisha, come in, sister.
Okay, first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you for hosting this platform, because I have learned so much this morning. I like the interaction with the knowledge on the topic and the situation that we're dealing with. I just want to give a big thanks to all of you this morning. It's the best that I've been on since 2020. Right. Number
it's the teamwork. The next, and Sister Trisha, could you please email?
I'd like to.
Sorry, go ahead, beloveds.
No, I was just saying that with the Via Digital, I applied to them. Actually, it's 3 years now this month when I submitted my compensation scheme application. And at that time, I'd just come out of hospital with COVID, on oxygen tanks. So I reached out because it said on the website, Home Office website, to reach out to them for assistance. But I had already filled in my husband's and I's application. I sent it to the young lady. The young lady informed me that she had just gotten the job with Via Digital. And I took my time and emailed all my paperwork to her for her to come back and say, well, you did a better job than I could have done. And that was it. That was literally it. No help, nothing. And wow. I didn't want to do anything because she was a Black sister. She was just like me, just got a job. But then what happened, I remember, I think it was in the January, that was the November, that was in the January, I'm getting a call from Via Digital asking about payment because the Home Office didn't want to pay them. And that rattled me the wrong way because my mother had just passed. Oh, and I had to tell the guys, they called me a few times and I said to them, you know what, don't call me again. Deal with whatever you have to deal with the Home Office. I didn't employ you. Call them.
These
right?
are our public servants.
Yeah. And from what I learned, whether it be true or not, I hear say, as we would say in the Caribbean, I hear say that this individual that owns Via Digital is related to Nigel Hill in some form or fashion.
What?
That's all I have to say this morning.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to investigate that to validate and substantiate that. Wow. Sister, to get your, could you please email us at powerofconsent@gmail.com, please? We have to speak with you, beloved. Your experiences are so valuable. Each and every one of you here in this space are so valuable to the community. Please don't underestimate your power, your experience, and your knowledge and your desire for justice. Yeah, we're dealing with justice and equity here. Let's go ahead to Sister Flash and then Sister Sheeling real quick. Thank you very much for what you said, Sister Trisha. Please, let's stay in touch, and that's powerofconsent@gmail.com to everybody. Go ahead, Sister Flash.
Right. Again, I'm gonna not be that angry black woman. I'm gonna be as calm as possible, as calm as I could be. However, it starts with the foundation, and we are digital, as I think it was Ewan said, that it's the director is Polish national. Again, anything that we do, we need to own it. And if they want us to put our forms through these people who have no training, whether they employ black people or not, they don't understand it. You can't. I guarantee you, anything to do with Asian, they're dealing with it. Whether it's going to be government or not, Jewish, they're dealing with it. They're not going to get. We couldn't go and run their stuff, but we allow it because we're getting a little bit of a crumb. And again, it's foundational. We have to, when we start anything, when we're doing anything, we have to look at the roots, the foundation. What are they offering us? We have to look at, because that's totally unacceptable.
Yes.
Unacceptable. And then we accept it again. This is what I'm trying to say here. We have people that's in a position of power, and that we are with people that have the ability to make decisions. And then because they give us a crumb, we accept it. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. We should get just like what everybody else is getting. Why can't we? You guys have been in this business for such a long time. Why can't you be Via Digital? Why can't they go through you? It's ridiculous. It's not right.
Mr. Flash, listen, don't think we have not been saying this. We've been saying this from the beginning. You cannot give this scheme to people who don't understand our people. We've been saying this over and over again. We don't stop. I'm not afraid to approach any politician and tell them direct. Yvette Cooper, same thing. The other Home Secretary, same thing. And this is why you see myself, June, and others, we're not giving up. We want to be at the front. So whatever decision you make, we're going to scrutinize you and say, no, that's not working for us. It's not working for us. And we need more platforms like this in order so we can throw it to them and say to them, listen to this. Because there's not a voice for the people. They're asking to give us a commissioner. That commissioner may not represent me because they haven't been through what we have been through. They haven't. And that's what we're saying. Even one of us who can afford the people that's being affected should be a commissioner. And then we have a say. I'm not interested in no A, B, E, C, B, E, whatever, or B, then put in. I don't want that. What I want is justice. And that's what we're looking for.
And you know what? Everyone's saying the same thing and you, sister, and Sister June, you, and this is what Sister Flash is saying, should be at the forefront. You should be getting paid a whole heap of money. And this is why Sister Flash, myself, every one of us, we're angry with the capital H that justice is not being done to all, and the injustice of them not putting qualified, experienced people at the vanguard of advocating for us. And that's what Sister Flash is saying, and everyone is saying, and that's what you're saying as well. And we need to pool our resources and come together. Yeah, and I don't know if it's a class action suit, a collective thing that we need to do together. We cannot do it, to a point we can do it singularly, but we must pull together. 100%. I love what you said.
We have to challenge them for an inquiry. We deserve an inquiry. We're just the same as the other schemes. And I've sat around the table with the heads of the other schemes, and they're basically saying the same thing. They're saying that the Windrush scheme is the lowest funded one and we're not getting enough. I've said there is not a scheme that I haven't set. The Hillsborough, the post office, the blood, the Suffolk children's one. I've sat around the table with all of these people and they're basically saying the same thing. The ombudsman has done a report. If you read the report, look up these reports and you will see where they're all singing from the same hymn, and we need to push for public inquiry so we can get the justice that we rightfully deserve.
Absolutely right. So we're going to round off very soon, people, because we want to keep everyone strong but not too long. And we've got more people coming in.
1 point.
And yeah, you're coming in. I'm going to bring you in real shortly, sister. Give me 1 second. Okay. So what we're going to do is, as we're bringing new people in, we're going to bring Sister Sheila in. So we're going to ask everyone to keep the points brief as possible. Please, if you can, because time is of the essence. And I'm just happy we're recording this. I'm going to get it out. Go to the YouTube channel, Power of Consent. Yeah, Asiatic Power of Consent. We've got part 1 of this, and we're going to upload this. And we've also uploaded some of our book club reading of the 53-page document as created by the Home Office. So, Sister Sheila, go ahead, and then it's my good brother Sean afterwards. Go ahead, Sister Sheila.
No, I was just going to...
Sorry.
I just wanted to add to what was being said. Sorry. I just wanted to add that I was advised up until Tuesday from Dr. Kenny Anthony, who's a past Prime Minister, to get in touch with the heads of Caribbean governments. And I think whatever organizations that are there in the UK, get in touch with them, with the heads of government, for them to be able to take up our cause and speak to our cause as well, because he feels that is something that would definitely help, because he said the young guys that are there now, a lot like the old guard, they would speak up.
Old man for council, young man for war. That's good. Very good, Sister Trinity. We're going to talk. Sister Sheila and then Brother Sean.
Hi. Right. So my point is, so one set of people that got money who are not our few is the Carnegie Trust. I was doing a sewing course there for people who aren't aware. One day the woman comes and says, "Oh, we've got money for the Windrush. So if any project you want to do, we can fund you." And I'm looking at her. Well, me and my other friend looked at her like, what? How is it they've got money and they're white? And so, but what it is that we attend there, and with each individual who puts their information down, they get funding for the individuals, which is us. So it's a kick in the face to know that other people are getting the money that we should be getting.
Okay.
So you're right. We need to be doing this, not anybody else. It's absolutely disrespectful.
Yes. So yeah, we need to be pulling together. All right. So that was, sisters made a very strong point. Carnegie Trust. Other people are dipping into finances, and if we don't mind sharp, I'm going to bring you in a second, Brother Sean. If we don't mind sharp, the reparations claim that is now the talk. Yes. And they've already paid people who were former landowners, compensated them. If we don't mind sharp, people will be dipping into that. So we must act now collectively, but it must be based on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And we must do it. We are the ones that are in charge, not them. We are. We are the ones that we have to put our foot down, and we love what Sister Glenda's doing. We love what Sister June's doing. We love what the community is doing, and we need to support them and continuing growing. Brother Sean, go ahead, bro. Good, Brother Sean.
Yes, Brother Courtney, and greetings, everyone. Greetings, family. My question is, so in relation to We Are Digital, it's my understanding that they are an organization that supposedly is meant to support people through this application and through this process. My question is, how comes what stopped your organization, sister, from accessing the same sort of funding in order to support in the same area?
Okay, I'm going to answer you. The very first group who came together were called Windrush Lives, which was a group of victim who had been affected directly. We've lost one of the founders, Anthony Williams. He died of cancer in Jamaica earlier on this year, but he was a founder of Windrush Lives. Now, when we thought, okay, let's see if we can apply for funding, because obviously we're representing the people who's been affected, there was conditions. And we were like, nah, you ain't going to tell us what to do and what not to do. It's as if they wanted, you could get the funding, but you had to abide by these rules. And we were like, nah, we're not abiding by no rules. We want to help the people. We're not here for us to promote you. We're here to help the people. So that's one of the reasons. I don't know if there's anyone here from the Windrush Justice Clinic who I advocate for as well, and the Windrush National Organization who I advocate for as well, but they're just a collective of other groups. And I've never applied for the funding because I don't need to be paid for me as a victim to say what I've got to say. But that was one of the reasons why Windrush Lives, I can say directly why Windrush Lives did not apply for it. And also the people who are giving out the funding, I don't think they've got a clear understanding. I know the group of people who are sitting there giving out the funding, and you'd be surprised who they are. But you can look this all up and you will, I don't think that they're not going through the applications properly and seeing who they should be giving it to. It's going to a load of different organizations who don't make any sense. I remember Jackie McKenzie once saying that she got a call from a Turkish Cypriot group who got funding from the Windrush, from this conversation.
Wow.
And they didn't have a clue. They wanted to just film her and for her to talk about the Windrush. And she said, but this is not helping the people. So this is what I'm saying. They're just giving out the money because they're trying to make it look good. And this is what the government's doing. Until we sort of like embarrass them and say to them, but you're not helping us. Hence platforms like this. We need more like this so that we hear your voices, because these people are saying, oh, well, we're listening. Who were they listening to? Because it's obvious not the people who's been directly affected. But Julie Elizabeth, you come in and say what you had to say, my love. Sorry.
Just a follow up on. Sorry, sister. Before you come in, just a quick. Just a follow up on that. Are you saying, sister, that it's because of the criteria involved or the rules involved, you when it went based around the funding, it's that you don't want it, you wouldn't want the funding,
no.
Or you're saying that if there were somebody who understood funding in that way, that would enable you to get the funding, but still push it towards.
You can get the funding
if
you're able to follow what their criteria is, but our organization was not prepared to do that. We're just not prepared to do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say two quick things. I was called into a meeting locally last year when it was Windrush at 75 by the government. They said, oh, there's a Windrush at 75, but your name's not on the invite. Anyway, I went to the meeting and there was two Windrush people there, right? A gentleman from Grenada and a lady of Jamaican heritage. I know them both. And there was about 17 Caucasian ladies there.
Jesus.
And one of them said, oh, I know that there's some Windrush interviews at the archive in Northampton.
Basic, the free all-in-one.
Sorry, people.
You can meet
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So to make it very short, when we came around and we introduced ourselves, and I said, well, I'm an international Windrush advocate, trainer, consultant, ambassador. And I said, in fact, those interviews, I was one of the people that put 200 interviews maybe 20 years ago of Caribbean people in the archive. So now I said to the person that had the interview at the meeting privately, I said, how you cannot make an apple crumble without the apples. So you had a Windrush meeting, and all these people, they don't know how to spell Windrush. They just came along because of the money. We had a lot of money, and one all I think one got 150,000. That was a museum. Another organisation, and they are statutory white organisations. So they had to. The next meeting, most of those people didn't turn up because I gave them the network to invite the black people. Coming on to the second point, we are digital, right? We are grouped. We are digital. I said they're based in Coventry. Their job is to do with computers and digitalization. What they done, they just bidded, like the gentleman was asking Sister Glenda about why organization. They put in the bid, right? They put in a low bid. That's nothing to do with what they do. They do computers. So now, if you ring We Are Grouped, right? They thought if they change the name, it might make them sound like somebody else. Same people. If you ring them, there's a different line now. They have a separate line for the Windrush through the Home Office, and I put in a complaint about, you know, they're not still up to speed, and that's maybe the third time I've made a complaint. And the manager said to me in the Home Office, they're not supposed to let people that are trainees just operate on their own. They're supposed to have a supervisor beside them, right? So it's still not going right. And if we don't keep on, you know, we'll just be giving a second-rate service.
Cool. All right, so let's move on to the next. Okay, thank you for that, sis. Thank you for the questions. I know we have to move on. We're going to try and finish by 12 on the nose. Sister Flash, go ahead again.
Just one other thing, in terms of, you know, when they've given you a criteria, yep, and every government body has to act in a particular way, and they've got policy procedures, and they've also got legislation which governs what they do. When they make decisions and they tell you no, you can always challenge it. Complaining does nothing. Complain, they just don't even listen to it. They might send something, a little wishy-washy note back, but you need to challenge them, because they need to justify why they made that decision. Even the fact that the digital got the contract, their choosing policy was wrong, because that company should never have got it, for the mere fact that they had nothing to do with what they're bidding for. So they should be challenged. So when they say no, it just means just challenge them, as opposed to complain. Complaining gets you nowhere. It really doesn't. If you challenge them, they have to follow, like you said, when they come up with something, you tell them, this is what your thing says. This is what you've written. So when you challenge it, they have a way in which they have to conduct themselves. And if they don't conduct themselves in the correct way, they can be challenged, because they're answerable. The procedure was incorrect.
I agree with you 100%. I was talking about the community grants. When We Are Digital was put in place, as June Elizabeth had rightly said, when this first started, right, let me tell you, when this first started, there was nobody to help to do anything. They threw it at the citizen advice bureaus. That's when citizen advice bureaus started shutting down. I went to a citizen advice bureau and they said, I don't know what you're talking about. I went to a meeting and did a presentation at my local so-called citizen advice bureau. They still didn't even know what this scheme was all about. So what they did is that, like someone said, but I'm not going to say it, they gave it to somebody who jumped in and said, here, you do it. Because We Are Digital, and I looked it up as well, are a technology business. What do they know about trauma? What do they know about culture? What do they know about compensation? But they threw it at them. And these people were completing forms, because I got one back personally where the person had said, oh, We Are Digital, someone from which had completed this. When I looked at this, I said, they basically put down what you said. And this person was a vulnerable person who had mental health issues. You know, I don't know. I've worked in mental health for over 20 odd years. So sometimes it can be very jumbled up, especially if you're having an episode. And that's basically what they put on the form. I had to go through and decipher and say, this doesn't make any sense. Now, if that person had submitted that form, we would have come back nil award. So we're still challenging there because these people still don't understand. They don't know about culture, they don't know about trauma, and they don't know about compensation. And this is why we're saying we need to talk more. Open up our mouth and say, I don't want to work with these people. We're doing it. We're saying it. It doesn't matter what they say to me. I've never used We Are Digital. I've never advised anyone to, and I wouldn't use them either. Find an advocate, find an organization who knows what they're doing and get them to help you.
Absolutely right. And I just want to say as we conclude, because we are concluding, brothers and sisters, if you've liked what you've heard today, I know it's stoked up the appetite for us to go and chase for justice. We need to do it. And what I want to say here is, as what we're doing as a collective, as a community, from different persuasions or walks of life, religions, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, atheist, Jamaican, Caribbean, motherland, doesn't matter if you're straight or gay, it doesn't matter what your orientation is, you are welcome to join in for the fight for justice, the advocacy for justice. I can see Sister's posted up her links up in the chat. Please get in contact with Sister Glenda. Also, you've got the Power of Consent email for our courses coming up, because we're going to deep dive into this for 2025. You want to know more about legalese. You need to learn more about legalese. We need to learn more about the difference between common law jurisdiction, which is constitutional law, and these made rules, legislation, that are keeping us in what is called the law of the sea, maritime law. There's a difference. And I'm telling you, family, there's a reason why the symbol of the Windrush compensation is what? Somebody tell me what the symbol is. Or put it in the chat, rather. What is the symbol of Windrush? The symbol of Windrush is a boat, right? A boat where families came on and had to sign what is called a book, a certificate of manifest, yeah? Where you sign your details in. And I'm going to tell you this, family. When you hear the word or the term goods, you think, oh, you're thinking of merchandise, you're thinking of inanimate objects. No, the goods that are referred to on the boat are the people that came over. Though we know our ancestors are goods, but that term goods has never been changed from the Caribbean or the African continent in terms of the people being used for servitude, labor, trafficking, and slavery, which is a crime against common law. So the boat represents maritime law. And in our book here that we're reading, it goes into the United Kingdom, the lawmakers, the law of the waters being applied to dry land. Yeah, it goes into consent. And I'm telling you what we've just said tonight, if we don't say anything about the scandal that's going on, do you know what that means? It means we are consenting. Silence is what? Compliance.
Acquiescence.
Thank you, acquiescence. Evil reigns where good people sit down and do nothing. Martin Luther King. Yeah. So in our book club, we're reading about natural rights. We're not lawyers. We're not here to give legal advice. We are studying. We are learning about lawful legal rights that you are privy to. But we are not being told this in the schools or the televisions or the media. So this is why we provide a platform where we can share knowledge, share information, because knowledge is power. So we have book club every Thursday and Sunday. For those that go to church, you can jump in on church. And we read in the terms. We got to understand what we're reading when we're doing Windrush, these forms, or any claim. We've got to understand it. It's not enough just to march, to rally, protest, and say, oh, isn't it bad what's happened to the young man in Dubai? Oh, he can't come home. Oh, we should just march and rally. That's not enough. Rallying and marching and putting placards up for one day on posts on social media is symbol without substance, if we don't mind, sharp. So we need to educate ourselves, our young, so we can advocate together and come away from the law of the waters and come unto true common law jurisdiction of the land. Go and do this research for yourself. This is not us teaching, we're sharing. So that's what that is. That's what we do in book club. Also, let me share with you a document made by my good brother, John, who's in the house. He put together this document to help us to put our words together, like our impact on life. And Sister Jan and Sister Glenda can correct me in that it's good when you can put a timeline together of your story, of your grandparents' story, of mum and dad's story, of what happened in terms of housing, employment. And a lot of our parents, they don't want to talk about certain things, especially in front of their children. But we have to find creative ways to put the story together, not fabrication of lies, but the story as John Muhammad has put together here today. For example, you know, a lot of us as our grandparents and mothers and fathers suffered abandonment because granddad and grandmom was invited over. Granddad typically came over first. So I could send this copy over, but email us at powerofconsent@gmail.com. powerofconsent@gmail.com, because we're going to run these courses for next year of 2025, because we truly need to be informed and we need to disabuse ourselves of the mass illiteracy, as the good brother was saying in the very beginning of this conversation, the brother who is in Barbados right now. Brother Hilary Beckles, who's a part of the CARICOM movement in the Caribbean. We need to hook up with the brother. We need to get Sister Glenda here. We need to all come together. Sisters at the front line doing what she's doing on the behalf of us. Many of us have given up before we've even started. Oh, I'm not even going to try. Or, oh, no, we need to push and go for more and do it together. So for next year, I'm going to call on us. I would like to get sisters paid to teach, to help. Though they are volunteers, we need to start looking out for our people in the community. So next year, when this course is sent out to you all, I'm going to ask us to donate to the sisters for their time that they're giving us to help us with our families. And remember, you can go for those who have passed away to the next and to the ancestral plane. We can see if we can get some compensation for them, because I'm sure granddad, grandma, if they're, you know, passed on, they'll love for you, the grandchildren, the sons and the daughters, to get something, because they paid taxes, worked for cheap labor, which is a crime, by the way. It's a crime. And we've got to know our rights, beloved. And this, I thank you so much, Sister Glenda, your time, and Sister June, for your time and your energy, and for you just speaking up and advocating for us, who most can't speak for ourselves. I thank you all for what you're doing here right now. And this recording is going to be all on all platforms. It's going to be on our channel, Power of Consent. Remember, powerofconsent@gmail.com. Send me an email, you know, with a capital H, email, you know. All right, as they say in Jamaica. So please,
can I just say that I am doing a platform, and it's strictly, there's no Home Office people going to be there on the 29th. It's called Let's Talk. It is on Zoom. It's in the evening on a Friday, and it is for me to hear the voices of the people who have been affected and the issues that they are facing in regards to putting in their claims for compensation. What we want to do is record it so that we can send it to these MPs, to these government people, so that they can see this is the problems that people are having in regards to the scheme, because they don't think that there is a problem, or they think, yeah, but we solved that. No, there is still a problem, especially that I know Trisha will definitely be there, but we need others like that who are willing to speak up and let us know what's going on. We don't need your full story. We just need a particular issue that you feel as if you're facing, but that will be down to you whether you want to do it publicly or not. But that's on the 29th. I've stuck it in the chat.
Is that
of this month, next week, Friday.
Oh, wonderful. Please, could you post up your links again, beloved? And we'll make sure we get that out.
Yeah.
And regarding the MPs, again, these people are public servants. They have a public oath of office. And this woman, excuse me, I have to be respectful. Sorry. Yvette Cooper, who's the Home Secretary. I believe, if I'm right, she's the one that's in charge of the Home Office. So we can hold these people to account, but a finger is stronger when fingers come together as one fist together. I'm not telling anyone to go and thump up nobody. Please, 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 please. We're not going to march down Westminster and no, no. We are civil and lawful people, law-abiding people, as our ancestors came. We don't encourage people not to do harm to anyone. We encourage politeness, respectfulness, and law-abiding lifestyles. This is what we do here. We encourage reading and literacy and proper manners and respect and behavior. Hey, so thank you so much, beloved. And if there's any, whoa, it's 12 o'clock. I know some people are hungry. They want to run down to Peckham Market, Lucian Market, East Street Market, and get the oxtail and thing. So I want to say thank you. Has everyone got that sister's contact? Please get it. It should be in the chat.
No, I haven't got in the chat, but just put in Glenda Caesar, you'll find me.
Glenda Caesar, you can find Sister Glenda Caesar, and obviously Sister.
Yeah, where we come as a pair. Me and June Elizabeth come as a pair. So if you find me, you find her.
Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel together. You see it there? You know, and that's what we need. It's always the sisters standing up for us in the community, doing wonderful things. And there's so much more we could go into. I think the next time it will definitely, 29th of this month, Sister Glenda Caesar. You can find her on Instagram and on, what's that handle platform again, beloved?
Twitter
and Facebook.
Twitter.
I'm on all of those social media platforms.
And Fierce the book. So I hope everyone was informed. Please go and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You can watch this back. You can watch part 1 back. You can watch the book club series of where we read the 53-page document. If you don't want to read, you can read along with, just like Storyteller back in the day. Remember that Storyteller where you play the tape? And but this time we dip on YouTube. So thank you, everybody, to the whole entire human family, to all of my African family, to all of my Caribbean family, and to everyone in general listening who really wants to advocate for justice and equity. You're in the right place. Power of consent. Thank you so much, everyone. Peace and love. Thank you, Windrush Part 2. Thank you for your questions and points. Thank you. Peace.
Bye, everyone. Bye.